Hello, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. The month of June 2024 is going to give you a feel-good glow up to your health, to your appearance, and to a sense of being lucky and feeling that life has got your back. And that's going to be courtesy of the planet Venus. But as well, you have a lot of action going on in your 12th house, and that could bring some significant financial gain from far off places and far off shores, but also some deep soul work. We're going to draw your attention to all of those things to help you time your best life in the month of June. And before we get started, let's talk about what do we do here and who I am. I'm Lori Lothian. I'm a Western tropical zodiac astrologer. I'm using the whole sign house system, and I love fixed stars and minor asteroids. You get a lot of that kind of content here. If you want to subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell and be a part of this channel, I would love to have you aboard. And if you're one of my regulars and you're here again, welcome back. Now, I'm recording this in May, by the way, May 7th for you. And my Patreon community gets its early access ad-free. Check out a link below. Maybe you want to be one of those people. And also in the month of May, join me on my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter. I'm giving away every Sunday free readings, free courses, and free products on a big celebration, May Madness Month, for celebrating reaching 60,000 subscribers here on YouTube. All right, so let's start out, guys. This is for the Cancers, and I am going to say the first thing is that there is this energy that constellates in the entire month of June in your natal whole sign 12th house. That's the house above the horizon line. It literally is a place that you can't see. You're going to have Jupiter, Sun, Venus, and Mercury huddled together here, and a lot is going on, a lot. Now, because you can't witness the Gemini part of the sky, and because it's kind of like offside peripheral vision, it's a very subtle, very kind of deeper place. Your unconscious, your dreams at night, your soul work, your past lives might be connected to this. Is it good for private solitude, downtime, more spiritual contemplation, navel gazing? It's really good for also reducing harm to yourself. If you have any addictions or self-undoings or self-sabotaging strategies where you fall away from yourself, so to speak, and the best that you can do for you, you can unwind and recover and restore yourself, get rid of those patterns and habits here. So let's go big picture story. We always start off with the planets and where they're moving, and then we're going to move into the day-by-day breakdown. Jupiter is moving through the sign of Gemini as of May 25th and will be there until next June. That is, of course, a big deal. That's where that 12th house is. This is good for learning, education, foreign land travel, and gurus and spiritual teachers and ashrams. All of those stories are very much in your face during that Jupiter transit. And then, of course, is still true in the month of May. But in the month of May, Jupiter is also having a party with Mercury and the Sun and Venus. And that makes this whole story very crunchy, constellated energy in that 12th house. If you have a relative in a hospital or somebody who's sick that you know in a hospital or in a prisons and hospitals and places of isolation can be the 12th house, and something good could happen here, like literally Jupiter and Venus and the Sun. I mean, something transformative and something powerful that lets that, your uncle at a prison or your auntie out of the hospital, something beneficial can happen in that kind of story. Now, Venus is also going to move into Gemini, which we'll address next. She's coming off of her Taurus kingdom, where she was in her home sign in your 11th house. I've done a whole video about Venus and Taurus and what it meant for your sign. But as we approach her movement into the sign of Gemini, which is May the 24th, and she stays there until June the 16th, she is joining Jupiter. And therefore, this is a Jupiter-Venus combination, two benefics together in your Gemini real estate. This is going to double down on what I just said. Maybe the relatives can get out of the hospital, or your uncle is escaping from prison or something, but there's good energies, positive energies in places that are often quite difficult. Also, maybe getting rid of an addiction or finding a new spiritual teacher, particularly a female. Also, Mercury will enter Gemini, and he'll get there on June the 3rd. So Venus is already there, May 24th, right? And in comes Mercury into your 12th house on June the 3rd, and will be there until June 17th. And that means that basically between June 3rd and June 17th, you're going to have Venus and Mercury together in your 12th house. It's exceptionally positive for making money from far off shores and foreign lands, particularly if you have borderless revenue, international company is you work for, Or maybe you are like me and you are making your money on PayPal or Stripe accounts or payment processors because your income is from around the world. So that kind of income can have a really beautiful energy going on between June the 3rd and 17th is an ideal time. If you want to have some kind of thing you're offering the world and you're a digital entrepreneur to like put it out in the world and like collect the money, so to speak. Lots of conversations and deals and backroom deals and negotiations can be ongoing with Venus and Mercury in the same place together, June 3rd to the 17th. And those backroom deals and negotiations can be about many different matters. Certainly, because Venus is the ruler of your fourth house, it may be conversations about legacy wealth, family money, and things to do with your home, property, and real estate, especially with Pluto in your eighth house. We'll get to that later. Also, Cancer. Both Venus and Mercury will be leaving Gemini and moving into the house of you. And this is where you get the wellness glow up, the friendliness, the lucky vibe. You feel good about yourself as Venus on June 17th enters Cancer, the house of you. Now, I forgot to mention, you're listening for your rising sign as most accurate, but your sun can be your father figures, career, purpose matters, vitality, physical vitality. And the moon can be your body in general, your home, your safety and emotional needs, and your mother. So when you listen for your rising sign, it's really just all about you. But all of you, sun, moon, and rising Cancers, when Venus touches your sun, moon, or your rising place, you're going to feel happier, more joyful, more sociable, more self-loving. You're going to be feeling like you look better than you normally do, and you're going to feel good about yourself, and other people will respond to that. And it's a really nice charm offensive. And so you are in a position like the Gemini risings where you get this Venusian glow up, and you can use that to your advantage in any which way you want. Charm away all the world around you. And when Venus is here, as I said, oh, did I give you the right date? June 17th to July 11th. I hope I said that right. Sorry. June 17th to July 11th. Venus is in Cancer, June 17th to July 11th. I apologize if I screwed it up. Mercury is with her, June the 18th to July the 3rd. So having both of them in the house of you, your conversation, your ideas, your information that you need to think about, your style of communicating and thinking has a huge sort of fortunate, blessed, flowing, kind, loving, easy Venusian energy. It certainly makes you quite like, charming and persuasive. And you could use that if you want in terms of selling or marketing or merchandising or using your email, phone calls, and text messages, as well as your own speech to generate positive outcomes for yourself. And then we're going to also mention that with Mercury moving through the sign of Gemini, the sign of Cancer, he's left his home kingdom and he's in the sign of the chart, the part of the chart that represents the emotional and the sensitive and the intuitive. And he's kind of mute in the water signs. Like he doesn't really speak much, so to speak. So you might find that this is a time instead where you're using your inner activations of your mind. Mercury's in the house of his joy when he's in the first house for your rising Cancers. And it may be that you have a more fluid connection to your inner life, your intuition, and your sort of non-ordinary perceptions to some degree, especially during the time that Venus is there, bringing you benefic insights and blessings through the way you are able to sort of perceive things in new ways. And there's going to be a Kazemi. We'll be talking about that later. All right, now Mars is moving through Taurus, and Taurus happens to be a part of the chart that he's not comfortable in. It's a sign of his detriment. However, he is in your 11th house, and this may mean some conflict with an elder sibling or some difficulties with your larger social groups and friends. However, he does flow as well to your ascendant. And this could also be you may lose some friends or quit some clubs of belonging or have a disagreement with an elder sibling. But in the end, it's all relatively benign and it should work out. Mars can have you change your goals, dreams, and wishes for your life, and he can be very passionately engaged in executing great gains from your career and helping you really work on career success stories. And he's going to be here June the 9th to July the 21st in your 11th house of good spirit. He has his eye on your children, and there can be some ways in which he wants to interact with your children, and sometimes that can also look like some disagreements going on in the world, amongst or between you and your children. We shall see how that looks. And what else can we tell you? That's about it for the Mars story. I mean, a whole separate video on that, so not to worry now. Just get that video and you'll probably enjoy it. Next, we want to talk about the idea of the breakdown of the month. We're going to talk about how the planets are going to activate your sky so you can time your best life in the month of June. So get a pen or a paper. There's a lot going on, most of it positive. That said, I do not do the full moon, new moons in this video because these videos are already 25 minutes long usually, and I cover those lunations in my videos for my channel every month, and I do big deep dives into them, including asteroids and stars. And so that is something, and all signs, you can do by subscribing and following me rather than expecting it here. So let's start off Cancer and talk about the first thing that's up for you. The first week of June, the 1st to the 7th, Venus is tracking pretty close to the sun. This is called a conjunction. And she's going to be under the beams and burning up and invisible, not doing too well until she hits the heart of the sun on June the 4th at 14 degrees of Gemini. And that's a magical, dark, deep reset of the Lord of luck and money and love. She's resetting herself in your 12th house. Now, she does it every 4 years, and I'll be doing a separate video on this reset. And this every 4-year reset button, it also has a little element of about like a baby being born 9.5, 10 months afterwards. So you want to go June the 4th at roughly 10 months and expect a lot of good and new and fresh things coming out, bubbling up out of your 12th house. Again, is a subtle place. Spiritual teachers, spiritual gurus, especially female, enlightenment episodes, good things happening with hospitals and prisons, a desire for the beauty of solitude and solace and solitude, more bed pleasures. Yes, Venus loves her bed pleasures in the 12th house of bed pleasures. And so more romantic love, more, loving yourself up, more enjoyment of your quiet alone time, where you don't see people, where you're isolated, where you want to be alone. It's very ashrami, and you might want to spend some time in retreat, in real retreat centers, or just in the energy of some retreat over the next 9.5 months. Foreign travel, foreign lands, and foreign shores also are things that she could be resetting for you. Now, when she does this conjunction with the sun, it's not everything about that day. She's visible in July, and you begin to see evidence of what she's bringing you. If you make money from far off shores and foreign lands and revenue that's borderless, you're on the money here. And she's giving you a 4-year window of money success, and more acutely, 10 months after the June 4th conjunction. With this energy, however, also being attended by Jupiter conjunct Mercury trining Pluto. We have an ongoing story on the side. It's pretty active all through the first week of June 1st to 7th. Pluto in Aquarius, in your chunky money, inheritances, shared resources with a spouse, tax payouts, insurance payouts, taxes, mortgages, investments in the stock market. Here's my dividend check, right? A chunk of money. You didn't earn it. You didn't earn the money. It came to you in a chunk. There is this energy of Pluto powering up there, and Jupiter opportunity. Powerful opportunities around chunky money coming through the sky. Don't forget, Jupiter is in the 12th house for foreign land revenue. Mercury is commerce and commercial success. And you're looking like there's a bright spot in your sky in that first week of June when this is happening for you. However, also, this can also activate things to do with property, homeland, real estate, and inheritances. So keep that in mind. You have a South Node transit through your 4th house. So it looks like a lot of you Cancer risings, especially, maybe releasing a home, changing a home, selling a home, letting go of a home, or getting money through the loss of a family member through inheritances in this time frame. Not just the first week of June, but in general through to 2026. Now we're going to move on to June the 3rd and June the 10th and 12th. I got to fix my board. June the 10th and the 12th, because on June the 10th and the 12th, you have this energy of Mars. We all do, squaring Pluto. That's very explosive and intense and and for the world, it will look like a mass shooter event, I'm sure. But Mars squaring Pluto is Mars in your house of friends and elder siblings squaring Pluto in the house of chunky money. A conflict over money with an elder sibling, a conflict over finances with a friend or ally or benefactor, a bit of a crunchy crisis regarding your career gains and matters to do with investments, taxes, mortgages, and banks. This kind of crunchy, difficult, challenging power struggle energy emerges June the 10th to the 12th. Then on June the 14th, you're going to experience the energy of Mercury in the heart of the sun. Now, Mercury in the heart of the sun is a reset button of divine magical proportion. I do a free webinar for all of the Kazimis. Check my description box below. Come join me in that live webinar. We'll be doing a meditation and I'll talk about the asteroids and stars involved, and you can channel this energy. So the mind, Mercury, God's divine will and intelligence, the sun are merging. This Kazemi on June the 14th at 23 Gemini is in your house of dreams at night and meditations and solitude and ashrams and gurus. It's all that 12th house stuff again. So it can look like a breakthrough idea or some kind of insight or dream at night. And if it has to do with a commercial enterprise of far off foreign shores, there can be a bit of news or information coming through on the 14th that helps you prosper there, or good news about somebody in a hospital, or good news about some interesting news, doesn't be good or bad, but Jupiter's there, coming through on the 14th regarding perhaps even chunky money matters because of the Pluto placement. And then on June the 16th to the 18th, Mercury will come into a contact of a conjunction with Venus. Venus is still invisible, by the way. So it's a very secret meeting between Mercury and Venus on June 16th to the 18th in the sign of Gemini. Now, I kind of think, 16th to the 18th, wait, she's in, which sign are they in when they join together? 28 degrees of Gemini, still in Gemini. So 28 degrees of Gemini. This will actually therefore be closer to June the 16th, okay, 16th, 17th. So Venus will be in contact with the god of information and news. And as they come together in this part of the sky, the god of information, news, and messages, they're in the very hidden realms of your 12th house. It can be a secret deal negotiation, backroom conversation with somebody, that's going to affect things to do, perhaps with your career, perhaps with your home life. You may be negotiating something behind the scenes around that time. Venus, Mercury can also be a profound, positive bit of news about a female in your life or about a sibling, especially a sister for sure, or an elder sibling coming through that's very beneficial and very wanted or desired information or news about that person. And again, anything to do with hospitals or prisons or places of isolation, this conjunction can bring positive news for sure. So we're looking at that around, what was the date again? June the 16th, 17th. Okay. Then next we have Venus. Venus squaring Neptune. Now Venus is squaring Neptune roughly at the same time that we have the Venus conjunction to Mercury, right? 16th, 17th, 18th. And so then that whole energy is also squaring Neptune. Neptune and Mercury's there. So it's a real complicated hot mess in my mind. Mercury square Neptune, Venus square Neptune on the 16th, the 18th. It's confusions around money and love matters that are a little delusional or starry-eyed and unlikely you see all or know all you need to know, especially from the 12th house. It's already confusing enough. It's like trying to read your own unconscious. It's like the eyeball trying to see the eyeball. And so you may not have a clue what the hell's going on here, but it's about legal court matters, long distance trips and travel, where Neptune is, religious and spiritual philosophies, things to do with higher education, things to do with those are book publishing. Those areas are obscured to you, and the way Mercury, Venus are trying to talk to Neptune is challenging. Wait for the sun to square Neptune on June 20th and 21st, because the sun will bring the discerning clarity to and light to the situation and help dispel the confusion, uncertainty, or hopefully not over idealization of some prospect. It could be an opportunity to travel abroad. Ninth house is foreign lands, far shores is the 12th. You may have an opportunity for foreign travel, and it may be too good to be true. So do not jump on that on June 16th and 18th. Wait to 18th, wait till June 2021 to really be able to figure out what's really happening. Okay. For example, or I don't know, a false acceptance letter for a university, an unrealistic perception of a course that you want to enroll in a university, a really look at the fine print book deal for publishing, that kind of stuff. Okay, now we're trending along to June the 26th to the 30th, the last week of June. We're going to see a bunch of stuff happen all at once. Mercury will have moved into Cancer in the sign of you. And as he's in that sign of you, he's able to make a conversation happen with Lord Saturn that's flowing, lucky, and fortunate. And Saturn is in the house of higher education, far off foreign shores, visas and passports, book publishing, publications, spiritual gurus, and religion, and churches and your spiritual philosophy and the meaning of your life. Yeah. Well, certainly, Saturn wants to consolidate something here. He's been here since 2000 and March of 2023, leaves in February of 2026. And therefore, if you're like trying to get a book published, if you're trying to publish a podcast, if you're trying to find your true church, if you're trying to get your schooling and education, college, universities finished, this has been what he's doing up there. And he is in a flow state, right at the time I'm talking about, June the 26th to the 30th, to the planet Mercury. You are the one with the ideas, the communication, and the mind. You are the one with Mercury in the house of his joy. So you are communicating, thinking, and ideating around things to do with the ninth house. And this is going to bring you good luck and good ease, good positive outcomes. We also would see at the same time Venus sextiling Mars. The cosmic lovers are having a little happy time together chatting. Now, Mars is in your house of friends and allies and your elder sibling, and he's been causing some disturbance up there. And he's got Uranus up there. He wants to be a rebel. He wants to break free, or your sibling does, or your friends do, or you want to your friends want to bust out from something. And don't forget, Mars is up there from June 9th to July 21st. But at this time that we're talking, right, this little window of time, June 26th to 30th, there is a Venus kiss, and Venus is in the house of your identity. If it's your moon, it's your body, your home, your sun, your career, your purpose, but your ascendant, it's all about you. Flowing to Mars, who's the god of change, decisions, and actions. Fortunate decisions, actions, and changes coming through the sky regarding your career gains, friends and benefactors and allies and people who want to help you, and also an elder sibling. Lastly, Mercury will sextile Uranus. Surprising news. Probably surprising good news. It's a sextile, nature of Venus. This is Mercury moving through the sign of Cancer, right? Because don't forget, he enters Cancer on June 18th to July 3rd. So he's in Cancer. It's your first house, or it's on your sun, or it's on your moon. And as he's doing that, he's going to flow to Uranus at 24 degrees. And so there is a 24 degrees Mercury, 24 degrees Uranus energy going through the sky. Could be 25 by then. And it's going to be a jolt of some unexpected information or news, maybe about a sibling, from a sibling, especially an elder sibling, from a friend, from an ally, or about or from people involved in groups that you belong to, or a sudden bit of surprising news about your earnings and your revenue and your money from your work, your great gains from your career. So the exciting, surprising news is coming up around June the 30th regarding the energy of those types of 11th house peoples. So I'm hoping that looks really good on you. And because it is a career gains house, you never know. Maybe because Mars, by the way, sextiling Venus is the ruler of your career house, this could look like a raise or a promotion or a sudden boost in your revenue from your work coming through from June the 26th to the 30th. Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. And if you like this kind of content and you want to get early access ad-free, come join my Patreon community. You want to win a free prize this month of May, giveaways for readings and stuff, come join me on my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter. All the information about all these parts of my reality are in the description box below. Ciao.